Hello, everybody. Morgan here. Since we've had kind of a disrupted last month or so, I just wanted to hop on and say hello, make a little video for you, give you some announcements. So first announcement is the rest of this week is Thanksgiving break. So that means no class the rest of this week, but I will see you all back in class on Monday, November 29th or Tuesday, November 30th, depending on what day you have class. So I really hope that I do see everybody there. And I hope for the rest of this week, you get to enjoy some time off for the holiday, get to see some family, maybe get a little bit of time to study, do some homework, prepare for your next math test. And in the spirit of that, I thought maybe we would do a little math question together. So this is something I've had up on my board for a little while. It is a Thanksgiving themed math question. It says in 2012, the US ate 760 million pounds of turkey. There were 312,800,000 people living in the US. So there were 312,800,000 people in the US at that time. How much turkey did each person eat on average? So how many pounds of turkey did each person eat on average? So assuming everybody ate some turkey and everybody ate exactly the same amount, how much would that be? So how would we answer this question? The reason I pose this question is one, it is relevant to our Thanksgiving holiday this week. And two, it is relevant to the work that some of you all have been doing on ratios and proportions over the last month or so. So how would we go about answering this question? Well, I'd encourage you to pause the video for a minute, maybe take out your calculator, see if you can answer this question. And then when you think you've got an answer, unpause the video and we'll walk through it together. So when I look at this, I see that we're trying to figure out how many pounds of turkey per person. Right? How much did each person eat? That word each is really the clue here. We're talking about a unit rate. We're talking about the amount per person. So we're looking for pounds per person. Now, how can we calculate that? The most straightforward way of calculating that is to divide. So we take all of our pounds, 760 million pounds of turkey, divided by 312,800,000 people. And let me get my calculator out here. Let's see, 760, 123, divided by 312,800, 123. So when I do that, I get 2.42 0.29, and then it continues going for a while, my decimal answer here. Now, right off the bat, before I start rounding and everything, I'm going to do a quick common sense check and just make sure I divided correctly, that this is an answer that's on the right track. I took 760 million and I divided it by about 300 million. We could even think of it as like 7 or maybe close to 8 divided by 3-ish. So 2 point something is about what I would expect to see. That sounds about right. I like to do a check like that, especially when you're dealing with big numbers like this. It can be easy to get caught up in the numbers and then you give an answer that just doesn't really make sense or it's way off the mark. You want to take a minute to think about, is this reasonable? Now, 2.5 pounds of turkey per person is still a fair amount of turkey, but if you got an answer that was like 2,000 pounds per person, right, that might tell you that somewhere along the line you went a little off track with your calculations. So we could leave our answer like this, but how about we round our answer to, let's round to the nearest 10th. So let's round our answer to the nearest 10th. So we would take 2.42. Now the 4 is in the 10th place. We're going to look to that 2 next to it for guidance. It's telling us that we should say this is approximately 2.4. We're going to round down to 2.4 pounds per person. So a little less than 2.5 pounds per person over Thanksgiving in that year 2012. All right, so this is a great example of a unit rate kind of question where we're trying to find the amount per something, right, for each person. This, like I said, is also related to all of the work you've been doing on ratios and proportions. You could solve this question using a proportion as well. Let's go ahead and do this problem with a proportion. We'll see that it's basically, you get the same answer, obviously. It's just a slightly different way of thinking about the setup. So to set up a proportion, right, we would say, all right, well, I'm comparing pounds and people. And in the question, it tells me I've got this many pounds and I've got this many people. So then I want to go ahead and set up my other ratio. My other ratio is I'm looking for how many pounds, so maybe I'll call that T for turkey, how many pounds of turkey for one person, right, for each person. So the bottom number there would be 1 person. So now I have a proportion set up, right, 2 ratios that I'm saying are equal to each other. And now I can solve this proportion. And how would we solve it? Well, we would cross multiply. So 760 million times 1. Now this is where we see that a proportion isn't really necessary for this problem. We can just skip right to the dividing, right? Because when you go ahead and you do 760 million times 1, what do you get? You just get 760 million, right? Nothing changes. So we cross multiply and then we divide 760 million divided by 312. We're going to get the exact same answer that we just got by skipping right to the division step the first time around. But you can set up a situation like this using a proportion, and you can still work through that cross multiply and divide method if you like to apply that strategy. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you found this little Thanksgiving themed problem here interesting. Like I said, I hope you all really do have a great Thanksgiving break, and I will very much look forward to seeing everybody next week for class, either on Monday November 29th, if that's your normal class day. Or I will see you on Tuesday, November 30th for class. We are coming up to the end of the year. I do want to remind everybody that we are currently running a little giveaway prize that if you earn your GED before the end of December, so if you earn your GED before the end of December, you get entered into a $500 prize raffle. So you get entered into a drawing for a $500 prize. So I know this time of the year is busy and things have been chaotic with my class schedule, but maybe you can take that as a little end of the year motivation and it'll help you to push through. All right, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you next week. Take care.